Hello Zombozos, long time no see. Thanks for being patient whilst I went through a move where everything that could go wrong nearly did go wrong. I might call this new apartment Murphy, after Murphy's Law. But hey, welcome to it. I only had one light at the new place at the time of filming this, so please excuse the lack of interesting lighting. For this video, I felt like doing something avant-garde because it's been a heck of a long time. I was getting major inspo from the work of Januz Miralles, who mixes photography with painting to make these sorta watercolor dipped portraits. They're super cool, highly recommend you check out his art, but I started there and I just kind of played with it to see where it went, and it turned into this avant-garde makeup that reminded me of the symbol for yin and yang. Avant-garde is by definition experimental, so I'm just going to talk through my general thought process while doing this specific one. I keep this look simple, color-wise, with only black and white water-activated paints and eventually some glitter, but it looks busy because of the different textures. And for that, I want you to pay attention to what tool is in my hand at any given time, because that changes a lot and it changes how one paint can be applied many different ways for a range of different effects. I start by dipping a water-soaked sea sponge into my black water-activated paint and stamping that along the upper right side of my face, occasionally letting that drip. Watch your eyeballs. Now I have a dense, rounded foundation brush with no product on it, and I'm sweeping some of the black paint while it's still wet for a new texture, and patting the black paint to make it more solid in other areas. I utilize that brush with the leftover paint on it to texturize my left eye. Since it's just a bit of product that I picked up from using it elsewhere on my face, it's a lighter wash of black. So opacity or level of your paint is another thing to think about besides just texture. And not all tools can be used in just one way. You'll see here I'm back to the sponge where I start stamping down my chin and over to the neck, but then I start lightly swiping with the sponge and it creates similar to a brush texture. So, easy way to mix it up with the same tool. You don't need a million different things to do a million different things. I'm using a flat angled brush here just to add more precisely to those drips, but I didn't end up using it much for this look since there were only a few times I wanted any precise lines. Then we got this here brush that I love, but you can't see it because, okay, whatever. It looks like this. And I love it for looks like this because the little extra long brush hairs are sparse enough at the top that they're perfect for getting a really defined brush mark. So I added some of that around my mouth. Okay, feeling good on the black areas for now, switching it up to the white. I'm starting with the sponge to start adding that texture to the naked parts of my face in both the stampy way and the sweepy brush way. This terminology is technical, I know. And I'm using an entirely new clean brush to sweep some of the white paint before it's dry. Basically same principles, different color. Shh, shh, listen, can you hear that? I am wearing one squeaky jacket. Anyway, I tried out some solid painting here on the lips, but it didn't seem fitting, so I blended that out with the sponge pretty quickly. One of the things that I think is difficult to judge with such a fluid style of makeup is knowing what works together and what doesn't. Of course, that's ultimately subjective, but for me in this look, it meant nothing should stand out significantly more than the rest of the face, and something super solid like where I was going with the lips fell into that category. So I changed it. I did outline part of the lips though in a very defined way, but that was just to preserve my facial features through the look to some degree. And this is the moment that I realized how even a couple week hiatus from filming turned me into a total derp brain. The moment I realized I had definitely set this video up to look a lot better than it did. The moment I realized that my ring light was off this entire time. Ah, what a difference that makes. Alright, so, back to that makeup thing I've been trying to show you in the dark. I wait till I think I won't be using the white with the sponge much more to start stamping that onto the black paint, because I know that that will start to muddy up the sponge and turn it gray, and I really wanted to break up the black with solid white and keep gray out of it as much as possible. I also painted into my hair here, and I'm not sure why, because I knew I was going to throw a wig on eventually. Derp brain strikes again. Ooh, some avant-garde cleavage accentuation for ya. Who doesn't like that? Art haters, that too. So yeah, adding more white on top of the black, giving myself some white drips, trying not to get white paint in my eye, but I totally did. I think another difficult thing with this style of makeup is knowing when to keep adding and when to stop. This was where I decided any more paint would start to diminish any chance of this mess looking strategic. But then it occurred to me, I need glitter. And I know what you're thinking, Mikey, will you ever learn from your green glitter mistake? Let me tell you something, zombie. It's not finely graded glitter that scares me, no. A little glitter adhesive and this beautiful glittery dust? I wish that stuff stayed longer in every crevasse of my apartment, actually, but it floats away with the wind oh so quickly. The green glitter incident was horrifying because it was the kind that isn't even that pretty and that lingers around through literally 3 moves now. Yes, I've already found green glitter in my new apartment. It's the big specks of glitter, like this silver stuff I'm adding to my face right now. So, to answer your question from a minute ago, no, I will never learn. But to recap the educational part of all that, I brushed glitter adhesive on my face, put a very fine silver glitter on top of that, repeated that but with black glitter because I was committed, and then made the biggest mistake ever by adding big, chunky silver glitter. But hey, it was the perfect punch to the look, and my sanity. Alrighty, the final step to an avant-garde look is to polish it off with the right aesthetic context. In this case, a wig to cover my feral looking hair, and FX contacts to complement my dark and light side, tying the yin-yang theme all together. Also kinda looks like Mardi Gras threw up on my face, but that didn't make as nice of a title, so I 86'd that one. Ah, it feels good to be back. If you missed it, I made a personal channel, which will appear somewhere on the screen right now. And I'm told you should verbally tell people to subscribe because most people forget otherwise. So this is me reminding you to please subscribe to that and this channel. Glam&Gore is almost at 2 million zombies, and I know half of you out there watching right now ain't subscribed yet because my analytics told me so. So stop creeping, you creep, and join the fam. Thanks for being here. See you in the next video.